Strategy Heights. What's up, hackers? Welcome to Attack on Tuesday. My name is Taggart, and tonight we are doing some cloud hacking. We're going to go after AWS here on the home of the real darknet hackers. Sorry, I know it's not as funny as I think it is, but it's very funny to me. Yeah, so we're going to go after some AWS stuff. And the platform that we're going to use, I found this great resource called Hacking the Cloud at hackingthe.cloud. And it's a phenomenal resource for cloud pen testing basics, right? And so this is like, if you want to learn about AWS IAM concepts, using the metadata service, enumeration exploit, like all this good stuff, like really, really solid. It's got stuff on Azure. It's got stuff on GCP. And of course, Terraform. Hey, 10x developer, I don't disagree, but that is definitely not what we are talking about tonight. Just a heads up. And so what's cool about Hacking the Cloud is, in addition to this set of resources per VPS, it also has a capture the flag that you can just set up in your own account for testing out some of these concepts. Now, the CTF is based in AWS, so you need to have an AWS account, and it is expecting you to be using Terraform to set it up. And so if you haven't used Terraform ever before, that might be a little bit of a stretch. But I'm going to walk you through how you would get all of that set up if you wanted to follow along with these concepts. And I'm going to start kind of from like not a whole lot of familiarity with the cloud, because I think it is new still to a lot of folks, and it is totally different than the stuff that we're used to in traditional IT. So if you want to get started with AWS, the first thing you need to do is go to AWS, right? And set up an account. You can set up an account that has on the free tier. So when you sign up, yes, you're going to have to connect it to a credit card, all that stuff. But there are a lot of things you can do on the AWS free tier to get yourself going. Once that's done, you're also probably going to want to set up a couple of extra roles. And let me see if I can log in and demonstrate what that looks like without giving away secrets. Yeah, I should be able to do that. Got all my MFA stuff going too. Okay. So once you have an AWS account, you can go to console.aws.amazon.com and you'll be logged into the console. Oh, hey, Christy. Thank you so much for the raid. Really appreciate that. And Kieran, thank you very much for the resubscription. Appreciate that, friend. Christy, how was your stream? What were you up to? I will switch to the new AWS console. Yeah, there we go. So what you would want to do is head over to, once you set up your root account for AWS, is you go over to IAM, Identity and Account Management, right? Or Identity Authorization. Yeah. And you want to set up some new users. Access, thank you, Wiz. I don't know why I blanked on that. And so I have one that's the AWS CLI, and this is what I use to run the AWS command line tools. And it has full admin privileges. You can set that up a little bit differently if you want, but you're going to want something like that first. And then if you have other more limited roles that you want to give out as you learn more about AWS, you can set those up as well. They all have secret keys and things like that that you have to save and manage yourself. But the reason why you would do that is that once you have all of this set up, you've got your AWS root account, you have an IAM account, you have one for the CLI, the next thing you would do is you would install the AWS CLI, the command line interface. And honestly, not too tough. They make it pretty simple, depending on your platform, right? Linux, Mac OS, and Windows. And I have this set up on my Kali machine, so we can just get to work. And the reason why we would do all of that is because Terraform requires the AWS command line interface and all of those credentials that you'd set up in order to make use of them. I've mentioned Terraform like a dozen times, and I haven't defined it yet, so let me fix that problem. So what is Terraform? Terraform is a tool from the incredible HashiCorp group. They're also the ones behind Packer, my nemesis, and Vagrant, my friend, and Vault, which I haven't gotten into, but I'm actually pretty excited about. Broken Fivehead, we are hacking some cloud assets with a CTF that is designed specifically to do that. But I'm walking through kind of how to get started with the cloud and how you can set this up on your own cloud account if you want to do that. Ash asks, besides phishing compromised a website hosted in AWS, are there other ways to gain access? Yeah, there are. There are a ton of ways to gain access. And just off the top of my head, Ash, one of the easiest ones is insecure S3 buckets. Right, so S3 is like kind of blob storage. It's raw storage that you can set up in the cloud. And a lot of times for ease of use, organizations will leave them kind of open to the internet, even to read. And it's very common that sensitive data is stored inside of those S3 buckets. And so if you know what those endpoints are, you can enumerate them and figure out how to pivot from there. So that's just like one off the top of my head. But as you'll see, and you did say compromising a website hosted in AWS, and that's kind of like a lot of it. But I want you to think beyond just websites, because websites are a very traditional idea. And when you think about websites, you have to ask, where are they hosted? And traditionally, where are they hosted? They're hosted on a server. A server means a virtual machine, right? Like a virtual computer. But that's not all that the cloud has anymore. Right? In addition to those sort of traditional paradigms of virtual machines, which AWS would call EC2 and Azure would call Azure Virtual Machines, then you would also want to look for something like functions, right? Lambda functions or Azure functions that process data and have HTTP endpoints, but may not be full-out web servers. Well, at least not exposed to the developers, but in fact do run containers or servers behind the scenes. Serverless is a lie, right? The code has to execute on something. It's just how much of it do you have to manage as a user or a customer of the cloud provider. And you may be able to compromise those as well. So that's another kind of thing that you might want to look for. And we'll go through the enumeration section of the site. Sparrows asks, can you test for subdomain takeover without having an account? Maybe. That's a good question. Subdomain takeover is more to do really with DNS and about, where registration happens. That's not so much an AWS specific thing or a cloud specific thing. Okay. So once we have everything set up and you've got Terraform installed, let's go back over to Kali here. You can go to the capture the flag called CIC don't. And you can clone the repo and use Terraform to init and apply. And what that does, let me show you. Let me see. Let's see, documents. Yeah, let's go to CIC don't. And let's vim the, is there a main.tf? No. Let's vim the attackbox.tf. So you can kind of see how this works. Terraform is a description language for provisioning resources. And what's cool about Terraform is that it has providers. It has the ability to work for Azure, AWS, Google Cloud. It even has the ability to work for things like VMware for now until Broadcom ruins it, and also Proxmox. So one of my end goals in my own lab, the lab that we use on Saturdays, is to get to a point where we can automate a lot of the provisioning of lab environments with Terraform this way, where you're setting up, here's like some data that we're configuring, right? So names for the AMIs and the vert types and things like that. And then we create an AWS security group. This is to allow us to actually get in. This is terrifying. Allow everything TCP inbound is not what you want to see, generally speaking. But then, of course, allow SSH, right? And we've got my IP coming in. And so it's going to set up all of this stuff for you. And so rather than having to go through and click through the console to spin up all of this, you run Terraform apply. And then you're going to have the resources spun up. Yes, Broken Fivehead, I do have YouTube. It just got linked for you. Okay. So I have gone ahead and done that before we set up everything because I wanted to have it up and running for the stream. And you can see that I'm SSH'd into this thing that they set up for me, which is the attack box. And the attack box is essentially just a utility tool inside of the virtual private network for me to interact with whatever I want to interact with. I can set up Netcat. Do I have Netcat on here? I do. Great. Or whatever else I want to work with. I may use this, I may not. It depends on what we find, because I have ngrok and other things that I might want to use just for my Kali box here. And right now, the web app is, I believe, just live right here. So the lab that we're going after to start is this GitLab instance. So we're going after GitLab. And the instructions were to sign in with the username and password that they provisioned. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. There's the password that they gave us. And of course, I am routing all of this through Zap, just in case. I mean, it's going to be GitLab, so, you know, whatever. But nevertheless, worth finding out about. So let's see. I have a project here. Thank you for the follow, Broken Fivehead. Appreciate that. What's this project about? Okay, you can't push or pull repositories using SSH until you add an SSH key to your profile. All right, I will do that eventually. Zap gang indeed. All right, let's see what we have here. We have a Docker file. We have an app.py. What's in the app? Give money, please. Okay, not much going on there. One wonders if it is running. Obviously, the first step is to get this to prod ASAP. Auto DevOps is enabled. What branches do we have? Just main. Okay. And we have 2 issues. That's interesting. And there's also a GitLab ci.yaml here, which is something we may want to take a look at. In fact, I know we do. So the build job says script echo, hey, GitLab user login. This is the CI/CD pipeline. And then deploy prod. Script echo VC money machine go burr. Okay. So they're not actually building anything. Oh, Orbital, thank you so much. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, we PWST has been out for a week. And if you're here, you can get 50% off using code DARKNET50 because we're the real Darknet hackers here on this stream. And really been a truly amazing first week. We've had as of right now, 497 enrollments. Let's see if we can make it to 500 by the end of the night. But, yeah, just an absolutely fantastic first week. Great launch. Nothing but positive feedback, and I really, really appreciate seeing all of that. I'm really overwhelmed by it, really. But it's great to be able to provide that for you. And yeah, the only course of its kind, as far as I know, that features Z-Attack Proxy as opposed to Burp as the web proxy of choice for web app pen testing. And obviously Zap is kind of what I use day to day in my real job, and it's what I use on this stream because we prefer open source whenever possible. Okay, so this is interesting. Let's see what the issue is. Should we port this to Rust? Well, obviously the answer is yes. We should port this to Rust. And then CI/CD problem with the Docker container. Oh, Sin, thank you so much for the resub and the kind words. I appreciate that, my friend. Ashley assigned this to me 23 minutes ago. What the... Oh my god, I'm so glad I chose that as my username. It's so much funnier to see this. Oh good, I'm at work. Hey Dagger, when you get a chance, can you take a look at our CI/CD? Something is going on with it. I was trying to build our new Docker container, but it wasn't working right. Thanks. This is way too true to life. This is essentially my real job at this point. Explaining containers to people. Okay. I'm just going to write a comment. He's like, you got it, boss. So good. Okay. We're going to have to make an SSH key for this. So I'm going to do that. I actually like it. Yeah, me too. Now this thing should be open to the internet because I actually want to do this inside of my computer if I can, rather than use the attack box, because that's going to be like weird. Yeah, let's do it on the attack box and keep it clean. So if we do SSH keygen, I actually should have one, right? But I want to make a new one. No, I don't. No, I don't. Yeah, I don't know why it gets a bad rap, but okay. Now this is going to be a little bit ham-fisted because I need to get this out of here. Good night, Ash. Thank you so much for hanging out. And then I need to get it onto my clipboard. So to do that, I'm gonna yank this whole line and then go to settings, access tokens. Is that right? No. No, it's gonna be my SSH keys. There we go. Nice. Okay, so now that I've added this SSH key, I should be able to clone this repo and have some fun with it. You know, I didn't expect this to be true, but this is pretty much what we demoed a little bit of this when we were hacking GitHub like a month ago, where we used GitHub Actions to get a reverse shell off of the virtual machine that GitHub Actions spins up when you run those things. And it turns out it is just an Azure VM. It's not even a container. It's a straight up virtual machine that you have full root privileges on. All right, let's go to the repo. And if we go to clone and clone with SSH, we're gonna go over to our attack box here. I can close this. And git clone. Git clone. That. Yes. Nice. Okay. Cloning successful. We have MVP Docker. And make sure I have Vim. I do. Beautiful. So we've got a Docker file, we've got an app py, and we have the GitLab CI.yaml. Okay. Now, presumably, these things are set up inside the same virtual private network. I believe that to be true. So if I 10.0.0.152.24. So I should be able to hit this thing's internal, right? So that's what I'm going to try to do. And how are we going to do that? What is this CI.yaml? Well, every time, I believe, let's look at it. Every time we fire off the CI/CD pipeline, every time we run this, these will execute. And so if you think about it, I essentially have full code execution on that server because they're giving me a window into which I can put arbitrary scripts. Phenomenal. That's exactly what I want to do. And what kind of a thing is this? Wappleizer can tell us a little bit actually already. It can tell us that Nginx is backing it. It's got GitLab. We know that it's Ruby on Rails, but it's Nginx, so we know it's some flavor of Linux, right? I'm happy with that. Let's see if Zap can tell us anything more. Just says server Nginx. Okay, so nothing else particularly interesting there. But my guess would be that it's an Ubuntu machine without knowing anything else about it. So let's go to the CI/CD section here. There's going to be a pipelines. There are currently no pipelines. Jobs. Create CI/CD configuration file. But we did that. Did we not? I mean, what is this? It says edit in pipeline editor. Do I even have to? Oh snap, I didn't even have to. Checking pipeline status. I didn't even have to edit it in Vim. I could just do it here in the browser. But it's saying checking pipeline status. And that's something that I'm a little worried about because we didn't see any pipelines. Build a job, stage, build script, echo. So I think before we go any further, I need to learn a little bit more about GitLab CI syntax because I'm more familiar with GitHub. So GitLab CI/CD pipelines. Let's see if we can find the reference for it. Nice. Okay. The name and order of the... So stages is the name and order of the pipeline stages. Example, so build, test, deploy. So what do we have? We have build job, stage. So this isn't like working. This doesn't look right to me. Yeah, there's no such thing as build job. I think they messed this up. So we gotta fix this. Assuming the version is right, we should probably make sure that we're in the right version of GitLab. Which would be where? We're in GitLab 15, so let's go to the 15 documentation, just in case. By the way, I can't express strongly enough how much of this work is just reading documentation carefully. It really is. Like, so much of both defense and offense, I will say, so much of it is just reading carefully, whether it's source code, documentation for tools, documentation for, applications that are getting deployed. It really is just a lot of reading and attention to detail. Even more than the technicals of it, right? It's that thoroughness, that attentiveness that leads to success. So we do have this build underscore job and debugging YAML. No orbital, just yeeting YAML and replacing it with JSON or INI syntax wherever possible. You are right, though, especially in DevOps. Hey, Draw1865, thank you so much for the follow. All right, so we have a build underscore job. I did my classic... Oh, no, they did. I thought it was a me thing. I am always confusing dashes with underscores, but no, in this case it was them. So build job, and then... Is there a deploy prod? Stage test. Let's do the quick start guide, just to make sure we have every basic idea. So, sure you have runners available. That might be a thing. We don't have runners as an option. Oh, wait, hold on. Go to settings, CI/CD. The runner is where the code will actually execute, so it matters. Oh, dope. Okay, so there are 2 Docker containers that are set for being a runner. So that's good. And in our editor here, what do we see? This build job. The stage is build. Oh, okay. So this definitely... So there's a build job, stage build, and then stage deploy. This is CI/CD. No, that's right, Sen. So the script is going to be, hey, GitLab user login. This is CI/CD pipeline, and then we're just going to run one of these. Get a little reverse shell action going. With good old hack tools. And I'm going to use the MK FIFO version, but I'm going to also use my little trick which is, maybe this is something everybody knows, but whenever you're working in pipelines like this, don't if you have reasonable confidence that there's no such file as /temp/f, do not copy that part, because that'll return a -1, right? That command will return a -1. And so any error in these builds is a showstopper, which means if you try to remove tempf and it's not there, then it's like it'll just kill the whole run. So one of two options. You can either not copy it at all, or you could weirdly put a touch /tempf first, but why do that, right? Instead, if you don't think that a tempf is there, just go ahead and make FIFO tempf for the first run, and then you can change it up after that. But in this case, because the Docker containers, these should be ephemeral, right? Tempf shouldn't be there anyway. So we're going to give that a shot. Okay, visualize. Okay. And we're going to update that. We're going to commit those changes. The GitLab CI configuration is valid. The pipeline status is still checking. Oh, it's running. Okay. Let's see where we are. Ooh, build job failed. Let's take a look at where it failed. Command not found. And it's using Ubuntu. Okay, well, easy enough. If it's in an Ubuntu Docker container, then we can sort that out. We could do apt update and apt install. This should all be running as root. Apt install -y. Netcat. I think that's right. Okay, there's our pipeline. And we're just trying to get ourselves a little shell here to start. How's everybody doing tonight? Let me relink this for anybody who wants to play along at home. Oh, you're welcome, Mr. Mochi. It's absolutely my pleasure. All right, here we go. There's Netcat. MK FIFO ran, and nothing yet. It is possible that they are actually on different networks. Which, if true, I will simply ngrok it and call it a day. Yeah, let's kill this, because it's going to hang on this forever. And we're not getting any talk back here. Now, so they gave us this attack box, but it's not really helping me out that much, is it? So assuming this thing has an internet connection, we're gonna listen on our local attack machine, but we're gonna change this up to use ngrok, which is just a TCP HTTP proxy. And so the way that we change that up is that we replace our IP address here, remove that colon, fire that off. All right, there's the pipeline running. Now, I have a kind of pop quiz question for chat. We see this MK FIFO, we see this reverse shell command all the time. But who can break down what is going on with each of these components? I want to know what MK FIFO is doing with tempf. I want to know what the cat is doing and the rest of it. By the way, there's our shell. We just got it. So we're on our way. FIFO is first in, first out. That is correct, Sin. It's known as a queue, right? First in, first out is like a stack of plates or a stack of pancakes. They're not, so it's not a named pipe. It's a socket, basically. But it's known as a queue. So basically, remember that everything on Linux is a file, including socket connections. And that's basically what this is. And so what we're doing is we're creating a file that is a first in, first out file, meaning that the way that data is going to be added and removed to it is that it's, stacked, and then we take from the top of the stack. First in, nope. First in, first out. Other way. My bad. I was just referring to a stack, not a queue. First in, first out is we pull from the bottom, right? As we stack things up, we pull from the bottom out. That's a first in, first out. Now, we're making that at this file tempf. We could make it wherever we have write permissions, but the reason we make it in the temp directory is because all else being equal, we're going to have write permissions to the temp directory. Okay, well, what do we do? So that thing is the socket. That's going to contain the data of the communication between the two, the client and the server, basically, right? Okay, well, cat is what's going to flush the socket, right? Getting whatever's there. And what we do with that is we pipe it to bin/sh. And then with the shell, we send that also. We're unifying this weird section right here. So these are called file descriptors. One is standard out. Yeah. And 2 is standard error. We're piping standard error to standard out, meaning that we're unifying the two output channels, basically. And we're sending all of that through netcat to send the data out over the network. And then we're taking netcat's output, whatever that is, meaning whatever it gets from the server in our case, and we're piping it back into tempf. So we're basically creating this loop of data flow. We're saying, okay, whatever's currently in the socket, we're going to pipe it through to the shell, and then we're going to pipe that output and error back through netcat, and whatever netcat gives us, we're going to send it back into tempf. So we're making this loop of data, and that's the reverse shell. And I think it's important to know each part of that, because it's easy enough to just run the command, but when it doesn't work, there are a lot of reasons why it doesn't work. So for example, maybe you don't have bin.sh, or you have like another shell. Maybe something's going weird with your file descriptors. Maybe netcat isn't present, right? But the rest of this works, and maybe you could use something else. Maybe tempf already exists. Or maybe, and this is pretty common these days, somebody was smart enough to harden the system and you don't have write permissions to tempf. And you got to place your queue, your socket, someplace else. And that's doable, right? Because you're probably going to have write permissions somewhere, maybe into the web directory in a web app. Okay. So we have our shell on this thing. What do we do from here? Well, I know I'm root, and I know I'm in a Docker container based on what the pipeline looked like, and also because if we do an lsal on the root, it tells us that we've got a Docker end file, dead giveaway that we're inside a Docker container, which is fine. Why is that fine? Because even though I don't have, do I have ifconfig in here? No. Even though I don't have a lot of tools, do I have curl? Nope. Oh, but I have apt, so I can install whatever I want. Apt install y wget curl. Yeah. Awesome. So I have curl, and I also know that I can probably call out. In fact, I know that I can call out because I just made internet requests to download stuff, right? So I know that I can get outbound on this thing. Also, I can get outbound because I just got the reverse shell in the first place, right? Out of the container. So I can get out, and what IP addresses might be of interest to me? This is where we kind of go over to the basics of enumeration. AWS account from EC2 instance. So this one, no, but right here, the metadata service is what I want, because I want that token. Right? I want to see if I can hit this thing. And this is exactly how I would do it. 169.254, 169.254. Take a good look at that IP address. Does that seem weird to you? It should. That's no normal IP address. That's not like a host's IP address. That's a special IP address. That's right, Kieran. Say more about that. As we go to Stack Overflow here. Yeah, sorry, not APIPA. It's the link local. That's right. So it's reserved space. 169.254 is reserved space. Right, automatically assigned. 169.254. You may have seen this if you've ever had DHCP problems, or like you tried to set up a computer and you forgot to set up DHCP, and the network interface will self-assign a 169.254 address, right? So what AWS does is on every EC2 instance, every virtual machine that it runs a service called the metadata service on this address on port 80. And so it is literally like a service running on the instance. And it's looking for this information, but what it does let's go ahead and copy that part. Now let's see what we get here. Hmm? Ooh. Oh, wait. What am I doing? We lost the shell. Let's get it back and try that again. Or no. I'm going to cancel this run because we lost the shell. And then we're going to rerun it. Yeah, we're going to run the pipeline. Yep, we're going to run it. And that should give us our shell back any second. The other thing that we want to look for whenever we get a CI/CD shell like this is we want to... Oh, there's our shell. Awesome. Is we want to check for environment variables. We want to see what's set here. Right? Our working directory is builds Ashley MVP Docker. But there are often going to be secrets in here. All right, CI runner short token. Depending on how we build this, there may be API keys, there may be something else. Sin asks, what's with the JWT? Yeah, good question. The CI job, JWT. This looks like it's something that maybe GitLab sets. Hey, Leon. CI dependency proxy password. Yep. Registry password. Right, so if we may need to take a look at that. It's entirely possible. I want to first start by curling 169.254, 169.254. Oh, right. Apt install. Right, curl. We have to do that again. Curl http :/169.254 169.254. Okay. This time I'm going to do it with a V for verbose. So we get a 401 on authorized, which is fine. Because we need that header. Oh, we're still getting a 401. That's fortunate. EC2, what's this mean? EC2 profile setup. There's no way we have AWS on this thing. No. It's like, that's not possible. I feel like I'm missing a step here, and I always do this. Just go to AWS tricks. I want the metadata service. That's unhelpful. Hold on. Payloads, all the things should have me covered. If I go to Cloud AWS. Yeah, there we go. Let's see. Yes. This. Let's try just this much. It's interesting it's taking so long. We're not timing out. AWS released additional security against the attack. Which means that they may be using this IMDSv2. Ashley mentioned having some issues about the container, right? I might be barking up the wrong tree here. If I can't get the metadata, which plainly I cannot. Let me cancel that job. Just run it again. Get our shell back. And let's go back to our issues and see what we have here. Something's going on. I was trying to build our new Docker container, but it wasn't working right. So let's go back to the repo and let's look at the Docker file. Copy here to here. Okay, but the Docker file... So we're inside of a Docker container, right? This just picks. So we're inside of a Docker file. Or I should say a Docker container as this thing is running. That's the build pipeline. But how is it getting copied over? Because we have those runners. Did we get that job running? So if we're thinking about, we're inside this container, this thing moves. Hey, honeypots. The repository is moved inside of the Docker container to do what it needs to do. The build, however, do we have Docker? No. That would be wild if we did. We're in builds. Where's just Ashley? So I'm trying to think container escape, right? And if we have a way of doing like no Git hooks. No, Angel, I don't think it's a Git hooks thing. I think we're in container escape land. Code Reader, thank you for the follow. CDK, huh? Why not? Okay. Let's evaluate. What do we have? Sensitive environment variables. Device dev root. Path cache. Builds. We're not in Kubernetes. All right, that didn't help us so much. So what else we got? Okay, we don't have... See if we have any interesting capabilities. Escape privilege container via disk mount. Dang. It's quite the tool. I don't think I can do a CDK auto escape, but I'm going to try it. No. Wait, auto exploit success. Docker.sock. Docker.sock is available? Yeah. Yeah, Leon. Although... yeah, it should be var run, right? Yeah, there it is. Not stat. I'll be damned. Okay. Well, if that's true, auto escape, not auto exploit. Auto escape. At Etsy. I just want to see if this works. Let's see, password. Oh, I see. Auto exploit via. So it adds the thing to the cron tab. Yeah. What we need is another listener. Honeypots wants us to calm it down. Is that better? Now, wait a minute. If the Docker sock is running, or if the Docker sock is mounted, can we install Docker inside here? I think we need Python too. And then docker.io, right? Just in case it's not there. If it adds a cron job, why not test reverse shell? Because I'm already like a reverse shell deep in AWS, Angel. And I don't want to do that if I can avoid it, because then I'll lose this shell. I have another machine I can use, but it's a little bit funky because I technically shouldn't have it. And I'm trying to be... So they gave me an attack box, right? But they gave me an attack box. I think it only has an external IP. Sorry if you can hear the dog barking. That's new. Okay, so we have Docker. If we do... Yes. Yes. Okay, so we have Docker running inside of Docker. That's always fun. And then... Yeah, mounted Docker socket escape, right? Yeah. run the image mount. So in this case, you just communicate with our daemon. Host. Yeah. This one right here. Let's try this. I'm gonna have to go get Ubuntu, but... Oh, the input device, not a TTY. Python 3, let's see, import pty, pty.spawn, bin bash. Let's try that again. Okay, we're definitely inside of a Docker container. And then the next part would be this namespace enter. That's so annoying. Hang on. Oh, that's because the shell is not stabilized, right? Oh, God. All right. But we're on our way. Just to rerun that whole job. I'm going to blame the dog barking in the background. Hey, Code Reader and Flig, thank you so much for the follows. Hey, Leon, I don't know if you saw the last thing I did, but it was exactly that. All right, thanks, Angel. Thanks for hanging out. It's all good. Okay. We're going to apt install python 3 docker.io, and then can't believe I did that again. Python 3, import pty, spawn, bin bash. Good. Now, I'm just going to straight type it. NSEnter, target 1, mount, UTS, IPC, net, id, bash. Center, ned. Yeah, that good. Good job, Taggart. Target 1, mounts, UTS, IPC. Let's take a moment here and learn about NSEnter. Executes programs in the namespace that are specified in the command line. So we're going to give it the mount namespace, UTS, PC, network. And of the program. So what program are we talking about? IPC. Target is target 1, which is the Docker daemon. And we are escaped out of the container. That's what's up. Yeah, totally different IP space. Okay. This is going to start driving me crazy. What was the tool you used to break out of the first container? I actually didn't use a tool as Seer Reptilian. I used a tool called CDK to find the potential, but I could have just looked for the Docker socket. But there are some like auto exploits for Docker containers in here, which is actually pretty cool. Now that we're here, okay, there's an Ubuntu user. But again, the whole point here is not to hit this. The whole point is to get a shell here. Now, I want to maintain persistence on this thing. So, and I am root. So I have full privileges on this box. Where am I? I'll go to root. Yeah, so I want to maintain persistence on this thing. So, the way I am going to do that is you know, I call this MSF, but frankly, I don't use it anymore. I use Sliver more often than anything else these days. Oh, but you know what? Not this time. And I'll tell you why. Because I don't think Sliver... Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think Sliver does... I only use it for Windows. Sliver doesn't do Linux payloads, does it? I could be wrong about that, but I don't think it does. In which case, we need something else. So to do this, we're gonna set Venom. Yeah, been a minute. Uh, 13.169, and we'll call it AWS MT. So we're using MSF Venom to create a Meterpreter payload. And let's spin up the MSF console. God, it's been a minute. We're going to use exploit multi-handler. Okay, options. Set payload. Linux x64 interpreter reverse TCP, because why not? Set L port 8888. And I think that's good. Oh, set L host. Honestly, it doesn't matter. Okay. And where am I going to put it? Why, on Notion, of course. Yep. Yep. Notion. Online note-taking platform that has no problem whatsoever hosting your payloads. So if I click on this, it downloads the file, right? And then in my history, right, I actually get the link to this thing. So now I can do one of these. I did a dumb. I knew this was going to be a problem, and I did it anyway. I'm just going to do a bit.ly link real quick for it, because that URL does not... Yeah. Does not play well with others. Unable to resolve host address. bit.ly. Gasp. Oh, is it internal only? That's confusing. Well, here's what we're going to do then. I seriously can't... So I just don't have a DNS. Okay, I just don't have a DNS resolver. Cool. Okay. Well, we've got root on this thing. Let's go back to our payloads, all the things. Here, let's go to Payload's all the things, and that's Azure, AWS. So let's try the first version of this. See if we do any better. Nope. Well, that's a huge pain. Because I'll lose the shell if I do this again. Let's do all that again, which I'd rather not do. Put heading to TL seconds. Can actually reset by pair. Hey, but we didn't lose the shell. By waiting it out, we kept their shell. Huh. I'm a little stumped here. Gonna wait to see if I can get my shell back again. For 2 minutes. Well, regardless of the metadata service, that's always like my first thought when I'm in AWS, but the truth is that we're also on the thing that runs these, we are on the server that runs GitLab, so there may well be other interesting data here, independent of the AWS credentials. So that is what we will check for next. Okay, let's see where we are. Okay. Nothing there. But this is ostensibly 10.0.169. You know, what's interesting is that it shows me an IP address of 10.0.0.169, but it's showing me... Oh, because the networking thing is messed up. Okay, right. Okay, we are on the thing that has the GitLab users. That is the point that I wanted to get to. So, where on earth? It's a Debian system. Let's see, GitLab. GitLab secrets.json. You've got to be kidding me. Oh, that's the Grafana admin password. Still. What is GitLab shell? So we're not going to find plain text user passwords in here, are we? But of course it's an opt. Why did I think it would be anywhere else? So we've got SV, and then Redis, Redis Explorer, Sidekick, Prometheus, Postgres, Grafana. Where does this thing keep its repos? MVP Docker. I mean, I guess it's all stored in the database, right? It's flat files. Although you would think it kind of has to be somewhere, right? The only places it currently lives is in Docker containers. Docker container ls. This GitLab runner. Okay. Current. Okay. ESP2K20, thank you so much for the follow. Okay, let's think goals here. Our objective in the capture the flag here is gain access to the AWS admin automation user through whatever means necessary. So exploitation. Still EC2 metadata credentials via SSRF. Let's look for this. One more time. Can I set a timeout? No. Can I really not? I really thought that would be possible. Connect timeout. So the max time. Yeah, connect timeout is what I'm going to do. Because we're not going to give it that long. Curl H. Oh no, there was an H in there. Connect timeout 10. We got a 401 still. So that's not going to work. This thing is an EC2 instance, I'm pretty sure. Okay, let's try this the same way. So we're going to do curl connect timeout 10 x put seems like longer than 10 seconds. Because what? It's getting a connection, right? But what are we missing here? What am I forgetting? I'm forgetting. In order to use IMDSv2, you must provide a token, which we're trying to do. But God, is it not working for us? Now here's my attack box. And to see what this looks like in a real situation, let's actually just try it here. Right, this is the one that I control, theoretically. Yeah, so that just straight up worked. So for whatever reason that's not happening over here. Now that might have to do with shell issues. Yeah, why not? So we're taking the SSH key that we've copied over, and I'm just, now that we have control over that, see if we can do this a little bit easier. SSH. I don't know that SSH is going to be open. I don't know how they did the rules. Didn't get lucky, unfortunately. But can I ping 10.0.0.169, which plainly no. Not really sure what the attack box's point was here. Okay. So we don't have DNS resolution, which is weird. Right? Does my... It's actually a good question. Does my attack box just have an IP address that's public? It does. All right. All right, let's try that then. Can you hit that? No, but that might be about security groups. What is allowed on that thing? Allow inbound from me, everything. Okay. And we're in a VPC, but the security group doesn't care, apparently. Just allow from 54, 92, 42. Oh, allow from. Port trains 26. Oh, TCP. Oh, interesting. So ping is not going to do the job, but. If I do Python 3 http.server, and from over here, I grab the IP address. Okay, I curl. Ah, nerds. Oh, because it's on. Hold on. No, that should still have worked. Yeah, that should still have worked, because if I have allow inbound from... Because I have allow inbound from my target, is the way that that security group is set up, right? Yeah, allow inbound 26 to 65535 from that specific IP address. Okay. So that should have worked. I'm confused why it didn't. I'm angry. Boy, nobody's catching my bonehead mistakes tonight. Curl http:// that port 8000. There we go. Okay, so they can talk to each other. And the reason that matters is because I'm gonna SCP AWS MT to Taggart at that. All right, so I've uploaded the Meterpreter payload. And then we're going to fire up the Python server here. And then coming back over here, we're going to curl that again. AWS MT. Excellent. Oh, Vanny, thank you so much for the resub. Okay, now that we have the AWS MT, we're going to chmod plus X AWS MT. Okay. Hey, bro. So here's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to pull off this switcheroo here, because I want ngrok to start using this 8 to give me my Meterpreter reverse shell. And if you remember, what we did was we created this ngrok pass-through, right? So it is going to phone out to this connection. Right now, port 8888 is being used by this reverse shell. I need it to be used by Metasploit, which is ready to go, but I can't bind it to both ports at the same time. So what I'm going to try to do is this really dumb switch where I'm going to sleep for 30, and then I'm going to run AWS MT. Now, I could just ruin my night by doing this, because it might just take the shell all the way down. And someone could check my thinking on this, but if it doesn't go wrong, what will happen is it'll sleep for 30, and then it'll run the Meterpreter connection. In that 30 seconds, I have to kill this and bring this back up. And actually, oh no, I can do this, but I have to do it slightly differently. This is kind of advanced persistent stuff. So what we're going to do is we're doing sleep 30 to rev.sh, and then we're going to echo AWS MT to rev.sh. We can't rev.sh now. It looks like a shell script, right? Chmod plus X. Rev.sh. Now here's the trick. In order to do this, I have to disown the process. Because if I don't do that, the session will, if I control C the session, I will lose it. And the job will just die because it's a child of the shell, right? But disown, hey, Broke, somebody can. That's not really my area of focus. You're more than welcome to ask in the Discord, though. Delete, remove Java's tell it not to send a hang up signal. We'll use this one. Okay. So disown job 1. Is it no hup that I want? Yes, it's no hup that I want. So we're going to do no hup rev.sh, which gives me 30 seconds. Okay, good. Now, back over here, run J. Hopefully, in like 15 seconds now, I should get myself a reverse shell, or I should get a interpreter session through here. Or not. I have a little bit of leeway on this because the Metasploit job should continue to try to phone home. But we may have just lost it. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get that. All right, so we have to think about another smarter way to do that. And the way that we're going to do that this time is we're going to continue. Actually, we're going to bring the Metasploit job back up on port 8888. However, this time we're going to tell the thing to listen. We're going to tell the job to run on port 8000. On this IP address, right? Because we know that we can make that happen. Cancel this run. And so we still have a little bit more, you know, back work to do, but we're pretty close here. So and the reason why we're going through all this trouble is I want a more stable shell because I feel like something's going wrong with the curl command. We're going to install netcat, and then while we're there, we're going to install Python 3 and docker.io because we know we need those anyway. So why not? And then we're going to just change this up to port 8000. Okay. Let's update 4, commit those changes. Let's see what our jobs look like. So this is starting up. And our server should still have the AWS MT. So once I have that, I should be able to, once I escape the container, I should be able to get it. Oh, cool. We got our shell. So now we can, right, easy days do this. Oh, right, I have to do Python 3, C, import pty, pty.spawn, bin bash. Good. And then, okay, so now we're in that Docker. And then, same problem that we had before, right? NSEnter, target 1, mount, TS, IPC, net, PID, bash. Good. Notice that AWS MT is still there. And there's our interpreter session. Okay, so that's all working. Sessions 1. Excellent. Hey, and I'm getting the right IP addresses now. I bet we're going to have a better result with this. So let's go back to our... Let's just see if this works any better. Let's go. All right, now that's working. So the issue was the fact that we didn't have like the right network interfaces. Okay, so now we've got the token, and then we're going to see what is in this metadata, whatever this metadata happens to be. Okay, we've got AMI ID, events, hibernation, hostname, IAM. What do we have in IAM? Nothing. Info, actually. Okay. Now, did we see security credentials? No, we just saw info. We didn't see security credentials, so I don't think we have much there. There are other paths, by the way. There's metadata that's dynamic. There's also this other place that you should look, and I'm confused why it's not showing up. Because there's also this thing called user data. It's not used all the time, but you can actually embed data. Yeah. You can embed data to be used when the instance starts up. And look at this. Okay, that actually was super helpful. But it didn't show in the paths. Yeah, I know. It's funny, because, like, if you look at the... yeah, look, it's right here in the Hacking the Cloud, right? So, what do we have? We have... Temp Game Master. Ooh, we have an S3 bucket, right? And temp Game Master, gamemaster.sh, Game Master sh admin token, which we don't know about. Oh no, here we go. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Admin token, get install. Host IP. Okay. Let's run our... Localhost, API, runners, reset registration token. Right. Game master. Oh, ignore everything in the following block. This is for gameplay purposes only. Ah, okay. So we should be looking up here. So we get the admin token. And then let's update. Set token, admin token. That's still around? No. What do we have in the environment? Nothing particularly fun. Hey, Lewis, thank you so much, or Louis, thank you so much for the follow. Registration token. There's a token in env, not admin though. Oh, this, yeah. There is a token, or whatever that is. Just game master. We're supposed to ignore that. Hey, Digital Warhead, what's up? All right, so we're installing AWS CLI. Ooh, wait a minute. We have the AWS CLI in here? That is good dang news. Okay, so we have the AWS CLI on this machine. Token equals user.admin's last personal line. Create scope same token, set token, admin token. The GitLab Rails runner seems like it might have the admin token in it. GitLab Rails runner token equals user admins. Save. Well, that's weird looking. Oh my god. Oh my god. GitLab root password right here. Their script used this GitLab root password in plain text. Well, thank you very much for that. Okay, so we have root in GitLab, and we see that there is this mark and infra deployer. Prototype using Terraform to manage deployments here at Softhouse. Admin IAM credentials are being stored in environment variables in this project to be used with the GitLab runners. Eventually, we can use an IAM role to assume to the Terraform. Okay. Meaning stored environment variables. It says the GitLab admin account is a member of this project. Okay. Now it doesn't have where are the secrets. CI/CD. You have secrets for me? Variables. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, these are AWS tokens, which means coming back here, we use AWS configure. Here we go. Secret access key. Skaboosh. Do we have a default region name? I like JSON as my default output format. Thank you very much. Let's install JQ, by the way, just in case we need it. Oh, JQ's already there. Wonderful. Cool. So now we're going to do AWS IAM. What do we want? I'm just going to do this on my own machine. Describe list. List users. Yeah. Oh, AWS. Yes, I am list users. Oh. Because no identity-based policy allows the IAM list users action. What can we do with this? Prototype using Terraform managed. Admin IAM credentials are being stored. Get account authorization details. Thank you. Or describe permissions. Okay. No. I don't want to do that. Yeah, I want my list user policies. I need a username. Ugh. Does that work? No, it does not. I've got a million of these, and I always forget this. Is it like... Yes! Yes! Get caller identity. And it's in STS, right? If we do AWS STS get caller identity. Oh. I think we're home. Plainly, we have the AWS admin automation user. That's why it doesn't have any permissions. So we're actually home. We rooted this cloud challenge because we got to the user that we were supposed to get to. Well, that's neat. That was tricky. Container escape, CI/CD compromise, and cloud enumeration. That was really cool. That was a lot of fun. Now, to bring it all down... To bring it all down, this is kind of the important part so we don't get billed beyond what we were already getting billed for, right? We're going to get out of all this. Exit out of here. Okay, and now, at the very end, Terraform, destroy, auto-approve, destroy, auto-approve. And that... should be destroying these, not... Yeah, there we go. Down they come. Right, so everything that was brought up as part of the CTF is then brought down with Terraform, because Terraform was what brought it up. And that is it. That's why I really like Terraform for stuff like this, right? It's no fuss, no muss. Self-cleaning cloud infrastructure. All right, well, I think that's going to do it for tonight, friends. And thanks for hanging in there. We finally got to it. All right, we'll send some folks Black Sheep Spice's way, and of course we're looking at the hack list. So, I am going to be back doing some programming tomorrow night, and one last time before we go, till the end of the night, there is a current 50% off coupon for PWST. use code DARKNET50. If you haven't picked up Practical Web App Security and Testing from TCM Academy yet, go ahead and grab it for half off. So that'll do it for tonight, friends. Thank you so much. Hope you learned something. I know I did. Until next time, be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and happy hacking. We'll see ya.